You are listening to an episode of The Faithful Sinners.
Welcome, faithful sinners, and thank you for checking out this podcast today. We will review our poll question from last month. And last month's poll question was, is it okay to sin? Well, not surprisingly, we had 100% response saying, yeah, it's a sin if we lie. But I thought we would dive a little bit deeper into this subject because we all struggle with, is it okay to tell a white lie? Or if it's going to hurt somebody, should I not necessarily tell the truth? So there are some challenges we as humans face when it comes to this topic. But Exodus in the Bible is pretty straightforward in the ninth commandment saying that we are not to bear false witness. So the Bible is pretty straightforward on this. But there's also what's termed as a liar's paradox. This was a new one for me. And to understand it, you may need to dive a little bit deeper and do some other research for yourself. But the simple breakdown of it is it's a statement that leads to a contradiction. An example of that would be this statement is false. So it's used in the Bible rhetorically by Paul when he writes his letters to Titus. But the challenge with the liar's paradox is it's a contradiction. So you're really not getting an answer. But the other side of the question related to lying is it ever right to lie? Like I said, sometimes we feel compelled to maybe not tell the truth to protect others or, ourselves. But the Bible never really presents a time where lying is considered to be right. There are obviously several examples that demonstrate where there are liars, and we learn that the falsehoods of those lies leads to misery, loss, and oftentimes judgment. But there are two times when lying produced favorable results in the Bible, and that was when the Hebrew wives lied to the Pharaoh, which resulted in God's blessings on them, and that's found in Exodus 1, chapters 15 through 21. And then there's also the time with Rahab when she lied to protect the Israelite spies, and that's Joshua 2:5. So in those situations, there was a benefit, but it's still not considered to be right. It's still considered to be a sin. So why do we lie? More often than not, it's to protect ourselves or promote ourselves, and sadly, sometimes to harm someone else. But regardless of our reasonings, if you lie, the Bible considers it a sin. And generally, most people are not going to consider it to be favorable if you lie to them. So, just in general, lying is frowned upon. But let's take a real world example. We all do this, and I know I have, and I almost bet that you have. And we get these things on online apps or things that we're signing up for, and they give us these terms of service and terms of agreements. We're supposed to go through, read those things, and then mark off that we've read them. So that would be a question. Is it a lie if you check yes on those terms of service, but don't actually read them? Well, it's interesting because, in our own minds, we're like, oh my goodness, why do I got to read through all of this stuff? I know what it says. Well, really, we don't. We don't have any clue as to how much we sign away when we go ahead and agree to certain things. But it is a sin to know what you ought to do, but then do it anyway. And that's highlighted in James 4:17. So, yeah, sorry to tell you that signing yes and not reading those terms of service it is considered a sin. How you choose to go about that moving forward, I guess that one's up to you. Now, as far as our response to the poll question, it was a pretty simple, straightforward conversation to have around this topic. So I didn't get a lot of depth behind this one. Next month, that's going to change, because next month, we're going to tackle an extremely difficult subject. And the subject is suicide. Is it okay to commit or participate in someone's suicide? That's a big one. That can really open the doors for a lot of conversations. And I really do truly hope that you will share what we're doing here with your friends and family and coworkers, because this is a topic that I know we all have thoughts around. And I know that we are going to have disagreements around. But let's open up this door of conversation and see how we all feel, so we can better communicate with one another around this type of an issue as it arises in our lives. And hopefully, I pray that it doesn't impact you directly. But sadly, this is a reality of the world. And unfortunately, there are people that go through this process, and it's a sad situation, especially when it's not understood by the family. So let's tackle this one together, and let's address that question of, is it a sin to commit or to participate in suicide? That wraps it up for today's poll question. Thank you very much for joining us. And like I asked, please share this so that we can all sin better together.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Faithful Sinners. Make sure to follow us and like us on your favorite podcast or social media site, and also check us out at thefaithfulsinners.com.